today I will start with English. Arnaud is going to follow up en français, in French. So I do have a script and we'll take you through the next hour. We want this to be very open, informal, and we want to share stories. We want to hear from you. The last time we did this, we heard that this was quite inspirational for everyone. So I'll start. So I'd like to introduce my French co-host, Arnaud Kaplan. Say hi, Arnaud. My name is Bonjour. My name is Julie Matthews, and I would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. While we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the land which we each call home. Today I'm calling from Noëlville, Ontario, the traditional Anishinaabeg territory on lands occupied by the peoples of Nipissing and Dokis First Nation. I'd like to honor my very close neighbors, the Dokis First Nation, which is located on the French River, which was used as a transportation corridor by the Algonquin peoples of this region. Welcome to our sharing circle. The circle influences how Indigenous people view the world. That is how all things are connected. Balance relies on this connection, and without balance, health is compromised. Everything in circles, cycles, the sun, the moon, the seasons, the journey of our lives from birth to death. Circles are a natural way to walk your path and conduct your life and align with fundamentals of the natural world. Indigenous ways of knowing use and interpret the circle in many different ways, but with the same good intentions. The medicine wheel or circle is used as a diagram for everything from 4 directions, the path to health and wellness, the connections between the human races of Mother Earth, as well as the cycles of life, seasons, and medicines. The circle is whole and doesn't end. The circle can be unbalanced depending on what is in it or not in it. But in general, a circle is impartial, fair, and representative of interconnectivity and equality. In a circle, we are all equal. No one in front of you, no one behind you, no one above you, no one below you. Today's sharing circle is to help us connect and share our stories, promoting dialogue, trust, and a sense of community. And over to Arnaud en français.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Arnaud Kaplan et j'aimerais commencer par saluer les peuples autochtones de toutes les terres sur lesquelles nous nous trouvons aujourd'hui. Bien que nous nous rencontrions aujourd'hui sur une plateforme virtuelle, j'aimerais prendre un moment pour reconnaître l'importance de la terre que nous appelons chacun notre foyer. Je vous appelle en direct de la région de la capitale nationale à Ottawa et j'aimerais tout d'abord reconnaître que les terres où je suis en ce moment réunis sont le territoire traditionnel du peuple algonquin Anishinaabe, n'ayant pas été cédé ni abdiqué. Bienvenue dans notre cercle de partage. Le cercle influence la façon dont les peuples autochtones perçoivent le monde, c'est-à-dire la façon dont toutes les choses sont reliées entre elles. L'équilibre repose sur cette connexion, et sans équilibre, la santé de chaque être vivant est compromise. Tout est un cercle, tout est un cycle. Le soleil, la lune, les saisons, le voyage de notre vie, de la naissance à la mort. Les cercles sont une façon naturelle de suivre votre chemin et de mener votre vie, et de vous aligner sur les principes fondamentaux du monde naturel. Les modes de connaissance autochtones utilisent et interprètent le cercle de différentes manières, mais avec les mêmes bonnes intentions. Le cercle médicinal est utilisé comme diagramme pour tout ce qui concerne les 4 directions, c'est-à-dire le chemin vers la santé et le bien-être, le lien entre les races humaines et la terre-mère, ainsi que les cycles de la vie, les saisons et les remèdes. Le cercle est entier et ne se termine pas. Il peut être déséquilibré en fonction de ce qu'il contient ou ne contient pas. Mais en général, un cercle est impartial, juste et représentatif de l'interconnectivité et de l'égalité. Dans un cercle, nous sommes tous égaux. Personne devant vous, personne derrière vous. Personne au-dessus de vous, personne en dessous de vous. Le cercle de partage d'aujourd'hui a pour but de nous aider à nous connecter et à partager nos histoires. Promouvoir le dialogue, la confiance et le sens de la communauté. Nous demandons aux volontaires de lever la main et de nous raconter leur histoire. Nous espérons qu'en partageant vos histoires, nous pourrons tous nous inspirer pour poursuivre ce voyage vers la réconciliation. Merci de partager votre histoire en français ou en anglais. Over to you, Julie.
Thank you very much. I was looking for all of our volunteers, and I think some people are having a hard time getting on. Oh, there's Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Are you on? Just unmute. Perfect.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
So,
too.
maybe we can start off talking about your journey. And I'm going to put a link to your YouTube site as well. So maybe we can talk if you want. The floor is yours.
So, Tonse, hello everyone. Nitsigatsan Charlie Quintal. My name is Charlie Quintal. I was born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta. I'm from Buffalo Lake settlement in Alberta. So I'm pretty in touch with culture and heritage. I started dancing when I was about 6 years old. I'm a chicken dancer in Pow Wows. So I started dancing 6 years old, and I danced until I was about 12 years old. And I had stopped until I was 26, just wanted to be with my friends and stuff, and kind of got away from the culture. But when I was 26, I got back with culture, and I'm 34 now, so everything's going really well. I'm starting to learn a little bit Cree. I've been to quite a few ceremonies and sweat lodges, so just get in touch back in that way, and everything that's been lost just in regards to like reconciliation, like my dad going to schools when he was young, so a lot of that stuff kind of affected the way he would teach me and the things I would have learned. But now, like, my dad is fluent in Cree, so he is teaching me quite a bit of Cree, and yeah, just going about learning that way and carrying on the circle. So everything is pretty good in that aspect. And I just recently actually started teaching every Tuesdays at a school in Edmonton here, powwow dancing every Tuesday night from 5:30 to 8:30 or 7:30 as well. So to get our younger crowd into the culture is great to see as well. So in that aspect, everything is pretty good nowadays. So.
Well, what made you start to dance? Why dancing?
So my dad was really into powwow dancing when he was younger, and we were always just around it. So it's just a great way to connect with other people in the culture and spiritual leaders as well as elders to go to their ceremonies and their lodges. So it's just a kind of like a good social gathering in that aspect, and just the powwow is it's just good, happy, everybody's smiling, so it's a good culture to be around.
That's a good point, because for those of you, if you have not been to a powwow, it can be quite invigorating, sometimes humbling, because you see so many people, who talk about their challenges, even when when they start to go in the inner circle. So I would suggest everyone at least go to one powwow. The food is great as well. So I love bannock, and the food is great. So, just please do go to a powwow if you can in your region. We highly recommend it. Anything else, Charlie? I like the idea that you're learning it's Cree. So what would you suggest to those of us who are not Indigenous and want to learn Indigenous languages? What would you recommend to us?
There's actually like quite a few good apps actually that you can learn from. Like I use quite a bit of, I think there's 3 main ones I'm using: the Musqueam Cree app, a Cree dictionary app, and there's one more Cree learning app. I can't remember the name right now, but they're really good. Like there is apps if like you can't get in touch with an elder. There's apps, there's YouTube. Like YouTube has a lot of people teaching as well, so it's great in that sense. Now that we have everything digital, it's a lot easier to learn that way also. So it's good. I mean, like the ceremonial way to learn things would be from an elder, but nowadays a lot of elders aren't around, or they're lost. So it's really good they like to see younger people taking care of the language. So it's good to learn on your own if you can.
Yeah. The word I learned from Ontario is Annie. I think I'm pronouncing it right, which is hello. And I learned a new word this morning, which is like sort of, see you later, I guess, is bon appétit. So
Cool.
Those are my 2 words I've learned. I have a lot to learn. And and I probably totally mispronounce it, but it's all about learning, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Just
thank you
stay
very
in touch.
Yeah.
You're very welcome.
Miigwech, and thank you so much, Charlie, for sharing your story. We're really interested. For those of us who are not Indigenous, we want to be better allies and help with this Indigenous journey. So I'm going to. Hi, Wade, you made it. Great. Hi, Wade. And I'll call on Trey, who's next. Trey, are you still on?
I am here.
Okay, well, if you can turn on your camera, we'll get to meet you. Trey, over to you. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julie. And thank you everyone for joining today, obviously. So yeah, my name's Trey. I'm a proud member and from Treaty 8 Chippewa Prairie First Nation out in Fort McMurray, Alberta. My reservation is Janvir First Nation. A little bit of background about myself. We moved to Fort McMurray when I was at a younger age, but at about the age of 15, I moved away to Notre Dame, which is in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Moved away from home, moved away from parents, lived in dorms, and the main purpose of that was to kind of excel my maturity on where I wanted to be and where I wanted to go after school. The community I come from, it's unfortunately rare for somebody to not only attend university or trades college or secondary schooling, but it's also very rare to graduate high school. So that was one of my main goals, was to achieve not only high school, but furthermore. And luckily I did just that. I just graduated this past May from St. FX University in Nova Scotia. So that was that was a pretty big accomplishment for myself and also my community. So that was very exciting. But to kind of backtrack with Notre Dame, I kind of got there through sports. In our community, we have a select few that have gotten out of the community and excelled in different aspects of life, but most of that has come from sports, whether it be scholarships, whether that be secondary opportunities. So that's kind of where my path led me as well, through sports. So I give a huge thanks to that part of my life. But yeah, so that's kind of my my journey, my path. It's a little bit of a difficult one. Obviously, moving away at 15 is not easy, but it brought me here, brought me to BGIS. So I'm very happy with where I'm at current to date. So yeah, thank you for letting me speak today.
And Trey, I don't know if you ever know this, but I remember when I first read your resume, the sports put you at the top of the list. So people who play a lot of team sports, I don't know if I never told you that.
Wow, there you go.
Well, thank you very much for sharing. Just a quick question. I know you're working on a lot of corporate stuff. What do you hope to achieve? Like, what's your, you have a vision of achievement within the company. What do you want to achieve with the work you're doing currently?
Absolutely. So at St. FX, I was a major in management leadership, but I ended up doing an advanced research on top of that. So my advanced research was corporate Indigenous engagement. So through that, I was able to study not only the increase and rise in the Indigenous economic aspect of Canada, but also understand what the corporate world is doing about it and what they're doing with not only Indigenous peoples, but the communities as well, that be, the treaty lines or the treaty bands or or the treaty in general, right? So that was a big aspect to my study. And what I'm doing now, the way that I like to describe it is bringing more attention and recognition to the economic side of Indigenous communities. I don't know. Obviously, not all of them are the exact same reservation wise, but Janver, where my reservation is and grew up, we are so much so excluded from towns and cities to where we don't get recognized for well, anything essentially. So the biggest thing that I wanted to do with my education was increase that, provide that recognition, provide that growth for Indigenous communities, because that's just it. There's so much growth, there's so much opportunity, right? So that's what I wanted to do with my future career. Obviously, I'm still fairly young, and I have very, very high plans for what I want to do down the road. But for now, I'm very proud to help lead BGIS towards our PAR certification at the moment. So come April, fingers crossed, we pass and get that certification. But that's my current goal right now, and I'm very proud and happy to be part of BGIS's involvement and inclusion with Indigenous communities. So.
Great, thank you very much for sharing your story. It's inspiring. So you started as a student, and here you are today. So we're all here to help you in your journey. So I'm going to turn it over to Arno, because Arno and I constantly talk about how we could help the Indigenous reconciliation path. We have our Indigenous team members, and as allies, we can do a lot to help. So Arno, I don't know if Raphael is on. Is he on? Because we are looking for en français contributions.
Oh,
there he is.
Salut. Good afternoon,
Hi,
everybody.
mate.
Salut. OK, ben salut, mon nom c'est Raphaël. Alors, mon parcours avec mon parcours autochtone, ça a commencé il y a environ 2 ans avec, bon, entre autres, Arnaud, Julie, Radmila. On faisait, c'était avec une initiative des Future Leaders. Et puis, nous autres, justement, on a travaillé sur un projet où est-ce qu'on a développé une relation avec un centre communautaire qui s'appelle Odawa Friendship Center à Ottawa. Et puis, nous sommes allés les voir régulièrement faire des dons. Alors, il y avait un magasin gratuit, un free store, et puis ils acceptaient des dons pour des Life Essentials. Okay, fait qu'on a apporté des couvertures, des ustensiles, des manteaux, puis on a eu beaucoup de discussions avec eux. C'est comme ça que ça a commencé mon parcours, et puis depuis ce temps-là, j'essaie d'être curieux. I try to be curious. Alors, je porte mon t-shirt orange, Every Child Matters, au moins une fois par semaine. I wear my Every Child's t-shirt at least once a week, just to demonstrate that I'm an ally. I'm here to listen or to have a conversation if somebody's curious about why I'm wearing this t-shirt or they may not agree. To me, it's not just today that's Orange Shirt Day or Reconciliation Week. For me, I try to live that way. I'm not Indigenous, but I want to demonstrate my support and collaboration and develop that partnership. And I think it's really through conversation, so we get to learn from one another.
Merci, Raphael.
Yeah, merci.
And
That's all I have
Raphael,
to share.
Raphael is at the CBC account, so got lots of visibility. So wear your shirt often. So.
I haven't worn it at work yet.
Okay.
I try to wear it if I was at the Children's Hospital at CHEO in Ottawa just last Sunday while I was wearing it. You know, if I go to the grocery store where I meet a lot of families, I will wear it so other people can relate to me, and as I said, just demonstrate my sense of community, being an ally.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you. So we're going to ask anybody to raise their hand if they would like to share it. We got started with a few people, but we want to open it up to everybody. You don't need to be Indigenous. If you are, great. If you are an ally, tell us a little bit about what you've learned. Go ahead, Arno.
I will jump in on what Raphael just said. So Raphael and I, we met when we were working on a project for BGIS to do more community involvement in Indigenous communities. And Raphael and I, we went to a friendship center at the Ottawa Friendship Center here in Ottawa. And we provided donations to them, as well as informing them of opportunities to work at BGIS. And this experience was eye-opening to me. It was a great opportunity that we had to establish bonds with the people in the Friendship Center and seeing all the community and the work they were doing there. So I love the experience. And now I'll speak a bit about myself. I'm a French immigrant. I arrived in Canada 12 years ago. And before coming to Canada, I wasn't aware of the history of Indigenous people in Canada. So I hadn't heard about residential schools nor the cultural genocide that happened here. But 3 years ago, I got the opportunity to join the BGIS Indigenous Committee. And since then, I've participated in many fascinating projects, such as going to a friendship center and establishing bonds with the people there, attending Pow Wows as well. It was very powerful. And now I'm the co-host of a podcast called Sharing Circle with Julie Matthews, our co-host here today. And it's providing me the opportunity to interview people throughout the company and know more about, talk about Indigenous initiatives here at BGIS. So I find this opportunity great. And to me, Orange Shirt Day, what it means to me is to remember and honor the memory of residential school survivors, as well as solidarity. It means solidarity to me, as I think that the more orange shirts we wear, the more people we touch and the more change we can do. That's it. Thank you. You're on mute, Julie.
Sorry, thank you. Hi, Larissa.
Yes, thank you. As someone who wants to be a more effective ally, what are things outside of wearing the orange shirt, showing the support for the Every Child Matters? What are some other things that we can do to educate, to support, to open the conversation a bit more?
Sure. And Larissa, what's your position?
I'm a project admin for BGIS PDS team.
Okay, perfect. So there is stuff that you can do within your job as well. So one of the things that we're working on is integrating Indigenous design into projects. So that's one area. We have a series of, and I'll put the links to these presentations on our Sharing Circle YouTube as well as podcasts. And you'll see someone in, Angela was interviewed as a project director and how she is becoming an ally and what she does to help us support it. Indigenous reconciliation. It's so important in the day-to-day activities that we do. We can affect change and economic reconciliation by choosing of Indigenous vendors, hiring of Indigenous team members, integration of Indigenous design into the buildings and into the projects. So that's something, I'll put the links in there, but I know Wade is on. Wade, Chris, or Vanessa, anything to add to that? Because you're the ones that have given me all the guidance. So over to you.
I just want to make sure my audio is working. I had some problems with audio earlier today. Lots of tech problems. I just want to say I'm so proud of what we're doing right now. Like I keep going back to the very first Orange Shirt Day event that we had, and it's now morphed into the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation. And to go from people not knowing why I was wearing an orange shirt to having these great team members sharing and the team for the Indigenous engagement program expanding. You know, Chris and Vanessa have now been here a full year, but to see the expansion and the acceptance of what's going on, and it is a difficult process. It's about you know, re-examining what we thought we knew, and that's never easy. That's change. But to see the team come together and to move towards reconciliation, and even reconciliation is kind of a tough word, because you know, it does imply that a relationship existed in the first place when it never really did. But I think we are really taking to heart, you know, the building of a functional relationship that's respectful and mindful for both parties. So I'm glad to have the team members here and the different people sharing, and it was great to see Raphael again. And you know, I remember bringing the two of you to the Friendship Center in Ottawa, and how far you guys have come since then, and really, you know, nurturing that relationship. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this, and thank you. And again, I just want to also say to Trey, I'm so glad we were able to get you on the team there. I know it was a bit of a bumpy ride, but glad you're here.
Yeah, it takes a village to do all of this, right? It really does. Chris?
Hi, Julie. Hi, everybody. Thank you. Well, thanks, Wade. It's great to have you back, and you know, leading the charge with us. I guess you know, Wade spoke about you know, that I've been in this position for a full year now, and leading up to this week, you know, I've done a lot of reflection about what this year has been like, and I must say that I truly feel blessed to be not only employed with BGIS, because I really think the direction our executive leadership is taking this company is the right way, and is going to make a difference to the lives of Indigenous people. But the people that I've met within the company has been awesome. You know, from you know, from everybody, from regardless of what their position is, I felt acceptance and also interest in learning ways that we can all make a difference in reconciliation. So I just wanted to kind of talk about, I guess I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy. That's the why do we wear orange shirts message, and just kind of want to repeat that, you know, this is comes from a grassroots movement. A woman by the name of Phyllis Wedstead, I'm sorry, I mispronounced her last name, in the Williams Lake, BC area. When she was 6 years old, was excited to be sent off to school. On the first day of school, her mother or grandmother had purchased her an orange shirt, and it was her favorite shirt to wear to school. And so if you can imagine, those of you who have children or nieces, nephews, or if you can remember your childhood, you know, the excitement of the first day of school. And so when she arrived there, the folks at the residential school or the day school wouldn't let her wear her orange shirt. They ripped it from her body and forced her to wear a uniform, and she never got that orange shirt again. Phyllis talked about the devastating psychological impact that action had on her, and you know, all of the years that the trauma associated with that she lived with. You know, she felt she was not accepted. That you know that it you know, that action played a significant role in her struggles over the years. So you know, the wearing of an orange shirt may seem simple, not really mean a lot, but it really does signify that we stand with the Phyllises of the world and those who've sort of survived residential school, both the residential school and day school, and the trauma inflicted on those people, as well as the children who didn't return to their home communities. So that's the significance of the orange shirt. To me, I think about the impact that the residential school played on the members of my community, and one of the again, the encouraging things about being with BGIS is the number of folks who do want to make a difference, ensure that that we can improve lives, and as well as continue to recognize or ensure that these sorts of things don't happen again in Canada. So I hold my hands up to everyone, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else who wants to share their story? No? Does that mean I have to put someone on the spot? Rich?
Yeah. Hey, Julie, can you hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, there's some really good points have been made. I mean, Chris, your truth was very touching just now, so thank you for that. Many of us, I don't think I've heard when we were growing up, those of us at least of a certain age, didn't hear the real history, right? And I think to what Arnaud was saying earlier, a lot of us had a lot to learn and still do, right, about the real history of our nation and the some of the terrible things that have happened here in Canada that we all need to be accountable for. And like I said, I really think we have a lot to learn, and I really want to thank some of our team members who are kind of guiding us along the journey here. We wouldn't be here today talking about this if it wasn't for a lot of the efforts of Wade, Wade specifically, who was the first person to really kind of guide us in this way. So thank you very much, Wade, and then Vanessa and Chris, who followed on your team, and yourself, Julie, too. Julie's been such an advocate for this cause, and I recognized earlier today, but I want to do it again. Thank you very much for helping us spread the message. We have a ton of work to do as a business, but we're doing a lot of exciting things. So I actually want to sort of say some of the exciting things I'm really pleased to see. I see a lot of effort in our reconciliation journey around bringing vendors on board. Somebody mentioned Indigenous design, but we're trying to bring in Indigenous vendors wherever we can within our organization. Yes, there's a business benefit to it, but it's the right thing to do as well too. So what a lot of you may not be aware is a lot of the work that Wade and Chris and Vanessa do on a day-to-day basis is making those forays into the communities to find partners for us and really to see where the opportunities are and make them come to fruition. I think some of the other things I'm really excited about is like I said, we're in a constant journey of learning. Earlier this year, I was in a conversation with Chris and Vanessa actually, and Chris put his hand up and said, hey, have you heard about this PAR program, which is a Progressive Aboriginal Relations program, which really keeps us accountable to the Truth and Reconciliation Action number 92. And so we're pursuing it as a business. In fact, thanks to support from Lori Rowlandson specifically and Mike Rodanis, we jumped on that one. And that's actually what precipitated us bringing Trey on board as well to help with that. So I'm really excited for us, some of the things that we're doing as a business, and I'm really pleased to be here. And but again, I think we have a long way to go. And I thank you again, Wade, for starting us on the journey, and we'll get there together, my friend. So thank you.
And thank you, Rich.
Sorry, Julie. Again, and thanks to Julie for putting all this together. She's really kind of been the glue that keeps us kind of going forward. You touched on something there where you had said that it's the right thing to do, and it is. But I think we're evolving from the right thing to do to the only thing to do as we go forward. I had this conversation both with Lori and with Athlon back on the 14th at the Markham office, and I said that's part of the focus as we go forward, that not only it being the right thing, but the only way forward. that path to achieving a reconciliation relationship is going to be done when both sides actually have equal benefit and equal involvement in that. Thanks.
And thank you, Rich, for your support, continued support, and everyone else. It does really take a village to get this done. Everybody's contribution is so important. And I'm going to go back to what Larissa asked, you know, what can she do? Everybody can do something. And I think that's so important. I remember when we started this journey with Arnaud and Radmila and Raphael, and they went door knocking. They were able to find us some Indigenous artists. They connected us with Odawa. We were able to connect Odawa with RCMP. We're able to support RCMP on their Indigenous journey, and so on, so on, so on. It's like a fabric. It's all being weaved together, and we all have a role to play. So I'm going to ask everybody to do, you can do something to help out. If you're not sure, you have Wade, Vanessa, and Chris to contact. You have Arnaud, myself. And, you know, we get lots of questions. So I'm going to see, anybody else want to share their story? Otherwise, I'm going to put April on the spot because April just facilitated our drumming circle with corporate. April?
Hello. Hi.
Annie.
Annie Bouchou. Oh, gosh, my story. Well, my great grandmother went to residential, and she had children, and my grandmother was taken from her family, adopted out, and lost the heritage. So, growing up, I didn't have exposure to any of the teachings. And it's pretty amazing how life works, because I started painting as an artist and became a member of an art gallery. And in that art gallery, an elder from Manitoulin Island had come down, and he was teaching drum making. I thought, oh, I'd really love to make a drum. And so I signed up and I made a drum. And that drum took me on a journey. And I live in Brampton, Ontario. And just switching over a little, there was signs for Chinguacousy Park Pow Wow. And I actually saw the sign. I thought, I need to go. Something was pulling me. And that talks about those intuition, or those life forces that just kind of take us places. And I went to that powwow, and I remember standing in the middle of the grounds, and they started singing on stage. And as they were singing on the stage, the song and the drum, and I felt the resonance of that drum, I stood there and I cried. And I cried and I cried. And I recall the elder standing on that stage saying, if you feel something inside of you, something is waking up. And I remember, and I feel it was my ancestors working through me. And I just continued to down that path. It wasn't something forced, but something calling me. And that was when I had to learn more about my own heritage, and I'm still digging. I'm still looking and researching to learn more. My ancestors traveled all over, so it's fascinating to learn. It's exciting, but that was something that was lost, and I think that's been lost for a lot of Indigenous peoples. And coming home. There is a homecoming that happens, and something just opens up inside. And I do feel that those teachings, that can be shared with everyone, and we can connect with everybody. And the beauty of the drum and its journey that I've been on with it brought me to an Indigenous drum circle, and that drum circle honors all backgrounds, all people. And there's a prophecy talks about all people coming together to help shift the world into a better place. And I believe that's what we are doing here at BGIS, and helping the world to become a better place. And through helping community, because it's those grassroots teachings that will lead the way of the future and help us to grow as human beings and live from a more heart-centered place. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak. Just didn't know what I was going to say, actually. Just kind of came out. But yeah, and everybody here, I can feel everyone has shared really is from their hearts, and there's magic to happen. So, miigwech, thank you.
Miigwech, and for those of you, April facilitated our drumming circle at corporate office 2 weeks ago, and it was very enlightening. I felt the journey and the power within that drumming circle. So thank you again. So appreciate it. Again, everybody has a role to play, because April has been talking to me about doing a drumming circle for at least a year and a half, and we finally got it done, right? So hooray. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else want to share their journey as far as Indigenous? And I know Harmony has put a link in there to the Indigenous program at University of Alberta. It's a wonderful program. I've taken it myself. If you have not, I highly suggest you do. You'll get to learn some great history and understanding and Indigenous perspectives as well. It's really, really good. It's all online and it's free. Thank you, everyone. And just to follow up, Arno, we talked a little bit about yourself, your podcast, and we are interviewing people for the podcast. And some of you may receive invitations in the near future. We do about one a month. We are really interested in sharing those stories. We want to get out there and say, well, you know, we appreciate our Indigenous team members. We appreciate non-Indigenous team members. One of the podcasts is Angela, who is a senior project director, and we talked about bringing Indigenous design. She did one of the first projects we ever did, and actually won awards for the Department of Justice. So we talk about that and how she was able to bring that in with Wade's support and bring Indigenous design. So again, please reach out to the team. You have Vanessa, you have Chris, you have Wade, Arno and myself on the communication side with the podcast. We want to share stories. This is, you know, that's what we learned from Indigenous team members, is share the stories. Indigenous are storytellers. I heard that this morning on an Indigenous design meeting we did for CD Health. Storytelling. So that's important as part of the Indigenous heritage. And so we want to hear from you. So everyone can contribute as well. And before we do, you know, any last minute hands up? Anybody hands up? We'll close with Wade. Wade, if you want to close on some thoughts, and we'll take it from there.
Thank you. I'll just give some people some insight into kind of where we're going. You know, the Indigenous communities, about past, present, and future. And presently, we can see how things are going, and I think we can give people a bit of a taste of where we see things kind of growing. And you know, with the work of with Chris and Vanessa in the respective regions, our community outreach is expanding. We're having these workshops that are called vendor engagement workshops to take place within community. Traditionally, these have been either hosted by the federal government or companies like us in urban areas. So now we're taking this into the community to work with the business people and be respectful of the limitations they have on time. And then we're also looking at, you know, how we can go with that mindset of the only path forward, meaning that if we make a business case for what we're doing, we're more apt to get attention. It's just that simple. Make it easier for the people that you're working with. So what we're trying to do now is find ways to incorporate, to champion business beyond the vendors we have on our list, but to really give them a voice in their own words about what they're able to do, and to bring that across into the commercial side, and then to also build that relationship on the commercial side to help support what we're doing here in RP1. I'm also engaging with Rich and the senior team at the national level. So we each year we begin our year or end our year off with Indigenous Engagement Strategic Workshop, whereby we plan for next year. We create an action plan. But we're going to do the same thing at the national level and at the corporate level moving forward. So these are different steps that we're doing as we go forward. And then Trey, with his great work, on the PAR program, the Progressive Aboriginal Relations program, I look forward to supporting him on that as we go forward and advance that journey. Again, all kind of leading to and working in direct conjunction with two paths. We've been talking about possibly updating that as well. So there's a lot of different things that we're doing, lots of ways to get involved. I know that the people and culture aspect to our journey, so pillar number 2, is going to be getting some more traction and some a better standing this year. Procurement was always kind of the lead because we needed vendors. But now through Chris, Vanessa, myself, the community relationship building aspect is taking place as well. And the corporate side's had the economic and business development in place. So we're all kind of moving there in slow paces, but making that forward progress.
What are you
so again, really looking forward. Sorry?
Sir, go ahead.
Might just be a mic.
Yeah, it might be a mic issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, just giving you kind of a taste of what we are planning for on the RP account, fiscal 24-25, and on the commercial side, what could be coming for 2024. But I really anticipate some strong growth for next year. So really kind of looking forward to see what happens over the next few months. Thank you.
Great. I'm going to wrap up with a poem. So I'm going to read that. So I would like to share part of a poem written by Richard Wagamese, who is a Ojibwe from Wabaseemoong First Nation in Northwest Ontario. He's recognized as one of Canada's foremost Indigenous authors. He's the author of one of my favorite books, Indian Horse. I'll put the link in there as well. So here's the poem. You stand on the edge of a canyon and you shout something. The world and the universe echo your own voice back. Whether you shout Yahoo or Yeehaw, that's how echoes work. What you throw out echoes your own energy back. Such a small thing to consider, but such a large thing to do. Shout something. Arno?
Sorry. Yeah, I have it. Vous vous tenez au bord d'un canyon et vous criez quelque chose. Le monde et l'univers vous renvoient votre propre voix, que vous criez Yahoo ou Yeehaw. C'est ainsi que fonctionnent les échos. Ce que vous émettez fait écho à votre propre énergie. C'est une petite chose à faire, mais c'est une grande chose à faire. Il suffit simplement de crier quelque chose.
So just ending with a great poem, and I've just put the link in there as well. He has a great poem book. I bought all of it. Oh, Sylvie, did you have your hand up? Oh, or was that a reaction? Okay. I'm just going to make sure nobody has their hand up. Nope, it's all good. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Merci, Miigwech, and keep, being an ally, sharing the story, helping the team out in any which way you can. There's so many ways. So I think of all of the work we've done, whether it's people and culture, Catherine and Rosa, to Arno, who was part of the Indigenous Liaisons team, to everyone who has such an important role to play, and even someone like Angela, who started the first Indigenous project within the company, it's about 4 years old now. So congratulations to everyone, and we will see you at another time. And I put the links into the podcasts and YouTubes, and we'll be having more of these meetings. Thank you, Miigwech. Keep sharing.
Thank you, Julie.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everyone. If you've enjoyed this episode, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel. Take care and miigwech.